Hello and welcome. So let's take a look at Bollinger Bands. In specific, we are calculating them in Python, visualize them, and build a possible trading strategy, which we will also backtest over a longer time period. So what are Bollinger Bands? As you can see here, we have a price chart of a particular asset containing the close price, the blue line here, the orange SMA line, which is a simple moving average of the close price over the last 20 days. And we have the upper band, the green line here, which is the SMA plus 2 times the standard deviation of the close price. And the lower band, the red line here, which is the SMA minus 2 times the standard deviation of the close price. So what are in general possibilities to trade those bands? On the one hand, we can see those reversals here. So what do we mean by that? When prices are moving towards the upper band in this case, the asset is assumed to be overbought, and you see this reversal here, right? While when prices move towards the direction of the lower band, the asset is assumed to be oversold, and you see this reversal here, right? The whole other possibility is to see Bollinger Bands as breakout signals. So you can see that nicely here. The close price is crossing the upper band here, right? And you see the continuing uptrend afterwards here. So this is another way to use those Bollinger Bands. To summarize, there are many ways to trade Bollinger Bands and also many ways to interpret them. A common practice is to use them in combination with other technical indicators. There is no right or wrong, it is dependent on the market, on the asset itself, and as said, in the combination with other technical indicators. So let's take a look at the strategy which we will test. We are buying when the lower band is crossed and we are selling when the upper band is crossed. So you see, I'm referring to the first possibility of taking the Bollinger Bands as an indicator for oversold situation and overbought situation. Probably I'm covering other Bollinger Band strategies in the future, for example breakouts. If you're interested, just let me know in the comments below. As a disclaimer, this video is not an investment advice. It is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Okay, so let's get started with coding the calculation of Bollinger Bands. Therefore, we need some libraries. We need Y Finance to get stock prices or asset prices from the internet. We need NumPy for some calculations, so in specific conditional calculations. We need Matplotlib to visualize our results. And we also need pandas, just in case. So just in case, I mean data manipulations and data handling. Okay, so first of all, let's pull some stock price data. So in the beginning, you saw the Microsoft chart with Bollinger Bands, and this is just the Microsoft ticker. And we are starting, let's just take the beginning of the year, right? So with that, we are getting this known data frame consisting of some columns here and the dates as the index. Now, the first thing we are going to do is to calculate the simple moving average. So we are just creating a new column here, SMA, and for that we are taking the close column, rolling over that, define the window as 20 days as said in the beginning. So of course you can adjust that, but the standard is 20 days here, right? Then we are taking the mean, and with that, we have calculated the simple moving average. So you see here now we have a column, simple moving average. Okay, next one is to calculate the standard deviation. We need that to calculate the upper and lower band. So let's create a new column here, standard deviation. And we are just rolling over the close column again with the same window and take the std function. Okay, perfect. Let's take a look. So we are getting the standard deviations here, right? Perfect. Now let's define the upper band. We can just call that upper. And as explained in the beginning, this is just the simple moving average plus 2 times. By the way, this is also a parameter, right? You can choose another one if you want, but this is the standard. So 20 days and 2 times the standard deviation is the standard when using Bollinger Bands. 2 times, and then we're just taking this column here. And yeah, let's take the lower band as well. So we're just taking lower here and subtract the same. Now we have the upper band, the lower band, and what else do we need? Well, we need to define the buying signals now, right? And the buying signal is pretty straightforward. We are buying when the lower band is above the close price. So let's just call that a buy signal. And here we are taking a numpy where function and just look for the lower band where it is above the close price here. And if that's the case, we want to have true, and else we want to have false. And similar logic for the selling signal. So sell signal where, and then we are taking the upper is lower than the close, right? So again, we're just defining, okay, whenever the lower band is above the close price, this is a buying signal for us, and the same for the selling signal. If the upper band is below the close price, we have a selling signal. Right? So let's take a final look at that again. Now we have the signals here, right? Okay. So let's get rid of all those NaN values. By the way, they occur because we are rolling, right? And if we are taking 20 days, we don't have entries for the first 20 entries, right? So we can do that by just typing in df.dropNA. And now we have only the values where actually we have values and not NaN values here. Okay, now let's get into plotting, and therefore we are just using the matplotlib library here, plt, and we are just plotting the close column, right? The SMA column, the upper band, and the lower band, right? So we have to add another pair of squared brackets here, and this should work. So of course we have to take plt.show here, and then we have a not so beautiful chart of Bollinger Bands here, right? So you don't see the axis here. This is because I'm using a dark theme. Probably I'm using light theme next time. But you can amend those fonts here, by the way, but I'm not doing that here in this video. So yeah, let's do the necessary amendments to this chart that we are getting a more meaningful chart. First, we wanna fill this area between the upper and lower band here, right? And matplotlib has a function for that, which is called fill between, and this function needs 3 arguments, and that is the index, and we're just taking the index of the data frame, which are the dates as explained in the beginning. We need the upper band here, and we need the lower band here, right? Also, we have to define the color here, and I'm just taking gray and make it a bit transparent. So I'm taking an alpha of 0.3, so just the transparency factor. So let's plot that, and now we see we have this gray area as the corridor here, right? So let's add a legend here. We want to have, let's just take those here. Now we have what we wanted to get, and maybe we are enlarging that a bit by defining a figure size. Size 12, I don't know, 6. Typo here. And now we have the chart we analyzed in the beginning, right? Or roughly this chart. I'm not 100% sure if this was this chart. I had like 100 charts, but I think this is near to the chart we had in the beginning. Okay, so yeah, what else? We wanna plot the buying signals. I think that could be interesting. So where exactly we should buy and sell. And with that, I'm showing you what's the problem with such a chart. So if I'm just taking a scatter plot here and define my buying signals by just providing the index of my buy signal. So this is my x-axis. So this is just the date of the buying signals, and I want to plot the buying signals exactly on the close column, or on the close price. Close column is wrong, right? So this is just the y-axis. So I'm telling Matplotlib I want to have the buying signal exactly on the close price chart. You will see in some seconds. So I'm defining a marker here as the caret character. Somebody told me last time I didn't know what the character is called. Thank you very much. And this has a green color, right? So let's take a look at that. And now you see the buying signals right here when we are crossing the lower band here. You see that here, right? And now again, we are getting those pylons or whatever they are called, triangles. They are exactly on the close chart here, right? You can also plot them on the lower band if you want, right? But I'm using the close chart here. Okay, so same logic for the selling signals. So we can just amend here, sell, this one here and red. And now we see we have both the buying and selling signals. And with that, we have kind of a problem, right? Because we have two buying signals here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 selling signals, right? So this is not a problem if you're using the Bollinger Bands, as I discussed in the beginning, as kind of a signal value. So you would have you would get the signal here. Okay, the Bollinger lower band has been crossed, and then okay, maybe there's a situation where the price is rising, or in terms of breakout, maybe there's a situation where the price is crashing, right? But if you want to trade the strategy, you have to do some amendments here, and this is what we are doing now. To be more specific, we want to buy here and then ignore this buying signal because we already have an open position here. Then we want to sell this open position here and ignore all the subsequent selling signals here. Next one here. We want to have the buying signal here and sell this position here. So this is what I'm going to build in the next step, right? So an actual tradable strategy. So of course this is tradable as well, but I don't know how you would do that or if that makes any sense for you. So you can go long here, then go long again here, then sell here, then I don't know, maybe short sell here, but I think it's not practical. But correct me if I'm wrong, of course. So let's build a real trading strategy here, which is again buying when crossing the lower Bollinger Band and is selling when crossing the upper Bollinger Band. Okay, so let's create an empty list here, buys and sells, and we need a flag which is telling us if the position is open. So we're just taking a variable here, open position, and setting that to false initially. Then we want to loop through our data frame. So we are taking for I in range length of the data frame, right? And now, first of all, we want to check if our lower column and then the I, which is just the row, or the row number to be more specific. So in the very first iteration, we are just taking the very first row, then in the second we are taking the second row, and so on. So if that is above the close in the very first row, then, and we are doing a check here first, then if we have an open position which is false, we want to append a by here. After we've appended a by, we want to set the open position to true, because we have an open position now, right? Okay. Now we want to say, okay, but when we have a selling condition, so we are taking the upper column here, index for the row number, and we have that below the close, and again the row number, and we have an open position here, then we want to append the cells. And after that, we are setting the open position to false, as we have sold the position. Right? Makes sense. Otherwise, drop me a comment. Okay, now I've executed that, and if I'm printing out my buys, I'm only getting 2 signals here, which is not that surprising. And I'm getting 2 cells here, which is also not that surprising. Why not surprising? Because if we are taking a look at this chart here, we only have this 2 possibilities to trade. This one here, and we are selling here. And this one here, and we are selling here. So it's not surprising we are only getting 2 signals here, right? Now, yeah, let's plot that. So, yeah, let's start. Let's copy paste a bit here. So let's just take this one here and then do some amendments. So getting rid of that, and we're just screening for the buys, right? Because the buys are just the row numbers here. These are 2 row numbers and these are 2 row numbers. So we can just literally index for the buys. So we are looking at the index on the x-axis. Same for the cells here. So we are taking the cells. And same logic for this one here. So we can just take, let's just take this one here. Take that here and plot that on the close chart. Right, same for the selling condition. Or not the selling condition, but the selling signals here. So let's plot that. And as expected, we are getting this chart, right? We only have 1 buying signal here, 1 selling signal, 1 buying signal, and 1 selling signal. And yeah, that's basically it, how I would trade the strategy. Now, yeah, let's backtest the strategy. Therefore, let us take the buys and the sells, right? And just put them into a data frame. So we are just taking merged, use the concat function. This is a function from pandas, which enables you to combine 2 series in one data frame. So we are taking the buys, and we are only taking the close prices of those buys. And we are also taking the sells and the close prices of those cells. And what we are also doing is to define an axis as 1. And this is just concatenating, not that the buys are above the sells, but that you have 2 columns, right? Otherwise, you would just get 1 column and then you would have the buys and then below that the sells. But if you are defining an axis as 1 here, you are getting 2 columns. I'm just showing you. I think it makes more sense to you. So now you're getting those 2 columns here, right? These are the buys and these are the sells. So to make it a bit more meaningful here, we are just amending the columns to buys and sells here. And now you're getting this. Now let us calculate the profit of those trades. And the profit of this trade is pretty straightforward, right? You have a selling price, subtract the buying price, and then you have the total profit. And if you would calculate the relative profit, you would take the selling price minus the buying price divided by the buying price, right? And how can you do that? In this structure here, we can work with the shift function. So I'm just shifting this value in this row and then just subtract. So I could take total profit, use the merge data frame, then shift that 1 row back, take the cells and subtract the buys here. And with that, I'm getting my total profit for each trade. So yeah, this one I made 13 bucks. This one I made 9 bucks. Now, relative profit is more important. So we're taking the relative profits, just copy pasting here and set that into relation to the buying price. Merged buys. So let's take a look what we got here. Relative profits. And here we have 5% on the first trade and 3.8% on the second trade. So we have a mean of 4.8%, which is pretty nice, right? Now, yeah, maybe this is, coincidence. So let's do some challenging of this profit by just extending the time frame. So let's just go 10 years or 11 years back here. Execute everything again. I'm just executing everything again here. And here we are. We have 5.1% profit over the last 10 years, right? And I think that's at least pretty remarkable. So I was surprised that this strategy is working. But yeah, it is how it is. So let's do some more examples here. So would this work with the Bitcoin? Let's just challenge the strategy. Execute everything again. Yeah, on Bitcoin you would make 4.3% profit. What else can we take? By the way, you could wrap that all in a function, then you wouldn't have the pain as I have now that I have to execute everything again, right? So what else can we take? I don't know. Tesla. On Tesla we would have made 8.9%, and I think that's enough. So you can play a bit around with it for yourself, right? Finally, let me share some thoughts with you. So this strategy is far away from being perfect. There is no perfect trading strategy, by the way. But a major issue here is that we are buying the asset and we are not accounting for any risk management here, right? So a good idea would be to apply a trading stop loss mechanism here. So you can check that out in one of my crypto videos. I will link that in the video description, how to apply that. And or just set a total risk limit here or total loss limit here, right? So as always, do your own amendments, considering your own risk profile. And yeah, don't blindly follow this strategy. Yeah, and that's it for now. So thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the upcoming videos. Bye bye.